All right, let's take a look at comparing plots of data. What statistical information is illustrated in a dot plot? Well, the first, it's just the count of each item. From there, the easiest one to find is the range and then the distribution. Whether that's normal distribution or skewed, but we won't worry about that. And what statistical information is shown in a histogram? Well, the amount in each range. As well as the range. And then what statistical information is shown in the box and whisker? Well, you can have your 5-number summary, which is the min, max, the quartile 1, the median, and the quartile 3, as well as the percentage in each quartile. All right, so let's take a look at our first example. The histogram shows the heights of trees on a property. Use the histogram to answer the following questions. How many trees had a height between 250 and 300 centimeters? So that's in this range right here. So how many trees had a height between there? If you look at the top of the bar, well, that is 50 trees. Oops. All right, so in this example, number 2, what is the number of trees with a height below 200? Well, below 200 is, here's 200, so that's these 2 bars right there. We'll say that this one is 5, and this one is 30, so then that is 30 plus 5 is 35 trees. Okay, next is what percent of trees measured more than 250 centimeters? Well, the percent means the part that we're looking at over the whole piece. Okay, so the part we want is more than 250, but we need to know what the whole is first. So we have 5, we have 30. Let's find this one. It's in between 20 and 30, so we'll go 25. And this one we'll say is 10. Okay, so then we'll add all of that up. So that's 50 plus 10 plus 25 plus 30 plus 5. So let's see, 5, 10, carry the 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 120. Now we need to know what the part is, which is more than 250. So here's 250, so that is these 2 bars right here, which is 50 and 60, or 50 plus 10, which is 60. So 60 divided by 12 is 50%. All right, so let's take a look at example 2. The histogram shows the heights of 21 students in a class grouped into 5-inch groups. All right, so how many students have a height greater than or equal to 55 inches, but less than 70 inches? So that's this number to this number. And we're not going to count this bar. That's out. And we're not going to count this bar. Instead, we're going to count these 3. So that is 6, 5, and 2. That's 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 2 is 13. So 13 students. All right, how many students, next question, how many students have a height greater than or equal to 60 inches? So here's 60. So that's all of these up here. So let's add all of those up. So we have 6, we have 5, we have 2, we have 3, and then we have 1. So adding 6 plus, no, not 6, because that's not 60 inches or greater. So we'll have 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1. So that's 11. So we're going to pick C. And what percent of students were less than 55 inches tall? So less than, so here's 55, so less than is this way, so that is 4. But we need to know the whole amount. All right, just as before, the percent is equal to the part over the whole. So we're going to have 4 plus 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 is the whole amount. So that's 10. Those two are 10. These two are 5, which makes these two 10, and that one 1. So 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 1 is 21. So that means our whole is 21, and then our part is the less than 55. So that is 4. So 4 over 21, pull up my calculator real quick. 4 divided by 21 is 19.047%. So we will go 19.05% or just 19%. And then our last set of questions involving this histogram, or this BART. The last set of questions involving this box and whisker. Let's take a look. What 5 data points does a box and whisker graph represent? Write what each is from above. So from our notes up top, we know that we can find this 5-number summary: the min, the max, quartile 1, the median, and the quartile 3. So let's identify what those are. All right, so we're going to have our min and our max. Then we're going to have our 3 quartiles, the quartile 1, the median, and the quartile 2. So our min is 0. That's the smallest number. That's this whisker right there. Our max is 12. That's this number right there. All right, our quartile 1 is in between. If we number this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's in between 1 and 2, so that's 1.5. So our quartile 1 is 1.5. Our median is this number right here in the middle of the box, which is 3. And our quartile 3, I'm sorry, not 2, our quartile 3 is this last number of the box, which is 6. And that's our 5-number summary and what each one of those is. Which percent of data lies between 0 and 6 hours of exercise? So if we separate this into its pieces, so we have this part in between those 2 dots. We have this part in between these 2 dots. We have this part in between these 2 dots, and this part in between these 2 dots. Now, if you remember from our discussion previously on box and whisker, each of these parts, so looking at this, we got to remember that this is 25%, this is 25%, this piece is 25%, and this piece is 25%. So between 0 and 6 hours, so that's between 0 and 6, well, there's 3 25%, so that is 75% of data lies between 0 and 6 hours of exercise. It means 75% of people get between 0 and 6 hours of exercise last week. All right, did the same number of adults spend 3 to 6 hours exercising as 6 to 12? Well, let's look. 3 to 6, that's this one to this one, so that's 25%. And 6 to 12 is another 25%. So yes, because 3 to 6 is 1 interval in the box and whisker. Helps if I can spell correctly. And 6 to 12 is another interval. Okay, there is no other dots. It is not a single, it is just a single. So this is the quartile 3, and this is the box, and this is the whisker part. So each of those is 25%. So is it more likely to find adults that exercise more than 3 hours per week or less than 1.5 hours per week? So let's erase all of this because it's getting a little confusing. All right. So, which it's more likely, 3 hours per week or less? I'm sorry, more than 3 hours per week. So here's 3. More than 3 hours, well, that's 50% because it's 2 of these. All right, or less than 1.5 per week. So here's 1.5, and that's only 25%. Well, 50 is more likely than 25. So 50%. All right, so it's more likely. It's more likely to find adults who exercise more than 3 hours per week because it is 50% of the data. While adults who exercise less than 1.5 hours per week is only 25% of the data. And there we go. That's lesson 6.3.